as police will use drones as first responders so they can get to crime scenes faster. That's what Jeremy Hunt announced yesterday.
Forces are set to trial the new technology which would see the remote-controlled devices dispatched to gather information.
Well, joining us now is the host of the Protect and Serve podcast and former police officer Oliver Laurence. Good morning, Oliver. How effective do you think these drones would be in actually managing crime?
Well, in terms of managing crime, highly ineffective is my honest view. And I'm fairly astounded that with the current problems we see across the country, the solution that Jeremy Hunt thinks will solve our nation's problems when it comes to law and order and public safety is the installation of drones across this country. Yes, they're good for maybe reconnaissance, for intelligence gathering, maybe, yes, for observing public order incidents, and maybe at a slim chance looking at traffic crashes. But imagine waking up as a victim of crime and hearing that your burglary that you're yearning to see a policeman to solve won't be solved because we're spending money on drones flying through the sky. To be honest with you, I think it's an absolutely absurd idea.
I'm so pleased because I read this morning and I thought to myself, listen, I have opinions on most things, as people know. So if you've been burgled or you've been attacked, don't worry, people, because you'll see a mobile CCTV camera flying through the sky. This completely misses the point that we need more policemen and women on the damn streets of the United Kingdom getting intel and information and catching criminals, doesn't it, Oliver?
But this is the crazy thing, Jeremy. You know, what we're seeing is a policing culture which is moving away from fighting crime. You only have to look at, for instance, Police Scotland. They're now trialling an initiative to not investigate minor crimes and closing police stations. We should be opening more police stations. We should be investigating more crime. And that money, if I had one suggestion to anybody, it would be to invest that money in getting more civilians into policing so we can get officers from behind desks and back onto the streets and investigating the crimes that the public need solving because it's out of control.
So obvious, man.
It's so concerning as well. We're living in an increasing surveillance state. I mean, this looks like something from the Tom Cruise film Minority Report. You know, it's quite unsettling to think that these things, and also several delivery companies, Amazon, etc., have said that they've been trialling, you know, delivering packages via drone. It feels like increasingly where public services are failing, like the police, like the post office, etc., drones and robots seem to be taking over. Do you think these could actually end up threatening the jobs of human police officers?
Well, I hope not.
Well, I hope we don't see scenes like RoboCop. I suppose I can assure you that. And I don't think you can ever take away the experience of meeting a human being. You know, like it's essential in terms of, we talk about this going back to basics policing, which ultimately is visually seeing a police officer, something tangible that you can see, feel, touch and speak to, and something that can give a member of the public a level of reassurance that their crimes will be investigated, that they care, and that they're there to support them in some of the most darkest times. So, you know, technology is important. We need to constantly look at advancements, but we've got to draw the line and look at where the problems and the priorities are now. And they're not, in my view, in drone technology.
You're right, because any policeman or woman I've interviewed in the years I've been doing this will say, and I go back to the word I used at the beginning, intel. You can't get intel from a bleeding drone. You get intel by being in the community. And also, you're very right, the visual impact. We seem to... Of course, you've got to embrace technology, Oliver, but to me, and again, I'm not expecting you to be political. I'll say this to Nicola, I'll say it to the viewers and the listeners. That's an absolute Tory own goal. The Tory party was founded on the belief of strong policing. And we've got a Chancellor stood up yesterday, you know, with literally his party's neck on the line going, let's spend some money on drones, you idiot, Jeremy Hunt. Let's get more policemen and women on the street, surely.
Do you think this could be a Sunak-backed policy? Because he seems to be very invested, doesn't he, in technology.
Well, I hope he climbs on a drone and disappears to America
in AI, in, you know, having these meetings with Elon Musk. I would be interested to see what the connections are between our current government and companies who are making these drones, making the technology that they operate on. But, Oliver, people carry mobile phones with them.
Yeah.
We have CCTV everywhere. Is this just trying to cut out the middleman of a police officer having to sit through hours and hours of CCTV footage and instead sending a drone to the scene and using that? But at the end of the day, a drone will only turn up after a crime has happened, once someone has called the police.
That's the point.
I honestly, Nicola, can't think of a reason why a drone would be needed to solve a particular crime, because ultimately, if you see some some baddies running away from a burglary or a robbery. You still need police officers to intercept and arrest those people. And let's not forget that we have a very competent and incredibly advanced National Police Air Service Wing that operates right across this country in the form of helicopters, EC-145. So really this drone capability has got a very narrow threshold in terms of when it can be deployed and used. And I really think, the Tories used to be the party of law and order. And sadly, since Theresa May took over in the Home Office, we saw incredible cuts to policing and funding. And ultimately, we are where we are today. And it's a fairly bleak outlook. So I hope this gets knocked on the head pretty quickly and we look at maybe directing the money to more sensible ideas rather than sort of drones in the sky.
Oliver Laurence, you're my favourite guest of the morning by a mile. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Total
Thank you,
sense
Oliver.
there. Thanks, mate. Really good. Well,